Probably another main event for you, another time to be at the top of the card. I mean, at this point in your career, does that even still excite you anymore? Does it mean anything, or is it just I'm just showing up for another fight?
When they say main event, I'm like, oh, okay, well now we have to put a lot of work because we got 5 rounds instead of 3. So for me, it's more. It's not just the physical part either of the training, it's mental. You got to be focused for 5 rounds. When a lot of people get tired and throw their game plan out the window and just start, throwing bombs. There's a whole focus you have to have for 5 rounds. So.
It's the first women's headliner in the Middle East as well, in Abu Dhabi. I mean, you've set so much history over your life in your career. Do things like that still resonate with you, that it's something, kind of groundbreaking?
Absolutely. I like to be part of anything that's, history making or, one of the things I've always wanted to do is do things that haven't been done before. That's why I even came to MMA. I thought, you know what, I want to be the first person to have world titles in boxing and MMA, or I want to be the first, female to do this, or I love to be able to have a challenge to do something that, hasn't been done before. Well, here we are. It's a little part of history. I take pride in it, and I feel very honored.
That's awesome. This particular matchup, stylistically on paper, looks like it could be a lot of fun. Does it appeal to you when somebody brings this kind of style to the table? Is it more fun for you to get ready for?
It's a different style. I know that we have a similar type background, but we've also come in and made our own style in MMA. We don't necessarily have the same style in MMA, but we definitely have our stand-up game. And I know she's got her ground game as well. And so I'm ready. I'm ready for wherever the fight goes.
Everybody in the division knows who you are. They've come up watching you. Do you pay attention to everybody else and watch them on their way up to you?
I have watched a little. I honestly don't watch a ton. I just focus on whoever I have in front of me, and but sometimes there'll be that fighter that I think, you know what, I might face this one eventually, so I kind of want to watch her fight. And Irene has definitely been one of those fighters that I felt like, I feel like her and I are gonna see each other in the octagon soon. So I've been watching.
Nice. Irene Aldana, Juliana Pena, they're all talking about title shots and title stakes and all those things. I mean, you've been in championship fights, and you're always basically right there. Yeah. So do you really focus on, is this the one? Does this get me? Where does it go? Do you even think about that?
My biggest thing is the only way to get there is to make the best statement with this fight. And I can't be thinking past my opponent right now. So that's what I want to do, is just make the most I can in this fight and go from there.
All right, so last thing for me, I mean, what exactly do you want to accomplish? Because I always think, you've done everything, you know what I mean? And so I know you want to continue to compete at the highest level possible, but I mean, do you have goals left that have to be checked off, or a finishing plan for your career?
My goal is to have the title. I want to retire with the title. I'm truly a big believer in the fact that if you're not trying to fight for a title, what are you fighting for? If you're not trying to be number one, what are you fighting for? That's the difference between somebody who just wants a participation ribbon or the gold medal, So I'm always going for gold.
Have you faced any Hispanic-born fighters in your combat sports career?
In MMA, there, I couldn't sit here and just really lay out of my entire career, but I have had some Hispanic boxers that I've faced before.
Is there a difference in facing someone like that? Because obviously you hear Mexican style boxing, they're more durable, their heart is there. Is when you're actually fighting, is there a difference?
There's definitely been, I always have called them scrappy fighters.
Sure.
They make a fight, but I'm also crazy country white girl, so we're crazy too. We're scrappy.
In this climate, is it hard to prepare for an opponent, given this fight was already rescheduled once before, but you sign a contract, you might go through 2-3 more opponents before you even step into the octagon? Is it difficult to even plan a week in advance, let alone a whole fight camp?
I feel like my last, maybe 9 months has been kind of just, my last fight was a postponed fight from me having a bad injury, so I had 2, and it happened the last week of training before the next one, and this one was my opponent last week of training. So I've had 4. I feel like this is my 4th fight within the last 10 months or whatever, but it's not. It's only the second one. So one's me, one was my opponent. It's just it's the name of the game sometimes, and I think the biggest thing is, hey, we're all healthy. I'm glad I'm glad she's healthy and nothing long term, and we're still able to have this opportunity to go forward. So just go with it.
How mentally taxing is it to have to constantly restart over and over with all these fight camps?
That's definitely, I think it's mentally taxing, almost even more than physical, but it's both. You know, you go through an entire training camp, your body takes damage. An entire training camp. And then mentally, it's a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of things like that. But at the end of the day, I've also learned a lot, and I also put a lot of work in. So I need to know that I've put a lot of extra time that's under my belt, and I've improved in that time. I definitely, when the fight was canceled, had to give myself a little break, mentally and physically. So I feel like I was able to do that and get back into training camp. I never felt like too burnt out or anything like that. I think I kept a good balance.
I see that your jiu-jitsu coach is here. I just want to know about your ground game. How's it going? How you're improving?
I feel like my ground game's always improving, just because my fights haven't really maybe necessarily gone there too much. But I feel confident in it. You know, I have some of the best jiu-jitsu coaches in the world. So, I mean, I have one here. Rafael Freitas is here, but also Roberto Alencar has just put so much time and effort into me, and I really have learned a lot from them. You know, a lot of people maybe wonder what I'm really doing, but the last thing I'm going to do is film my entire jiu-jitsu training and be like, hey guys, here's what we're working on. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm working on it all the time.
And another thing that I wanted to ask is about your social media. You're a fighter with a lot of followers, and you post a lot, which is good, you know, and you don't post only about your training. You have, you know, your personal life and all of that. How do you manage that? You're the only one who posts, or you have someone behind you that?
Oh, I'm the
takes
only
care of
one that my Instagram I run, and then it's just connected, I think, to my Facebook and Twitter. I don't even know. I do get I have had people tell me, like, oh, you really need to, like, pick up how much you post. Like, this is ridiculous. So I feel like I've gotten better. I do feel like I've gotten better about it. I enjoy it. I just try to, you know, if I'm having a good time, it's like, this is what I'm doing. I don't really, I don't know. There's sometimes I don't know. I think the first time I put just up, like, a dancing one, John texted me, was like, you're a nut. So, I don't know. I don't really mind people. I'm kind of an open book for the most part. I mean, there's certain things in my personal life that I keep private, but as far as just me and who I am, it's kind of easy to just be able to throw out whatever, because I don't. Like I said, I'm an open book.
Hey, Helen. I think I'm right in assuming your nickname for Preacher's Daughter is a tribute to your father. And I was just wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the role that he plays in your life.
You know, I mean, I was born a preacher's kid, and in the church, had a lot of good guidance from my dad as far as his belief in me. I mean, both of my parents, obviously, and my brothers, everybody has. A lot of people have always kind of wondered how that is. You know, he's a preacher, as he feel. And my dad says it's the oldest sport in the book, and it's not like you're going out and, like, picking on someone and fighting them on the street. You're both signing a contract and chasing a goal, chasing a dream. And you know, he's always really given me a lot of belief. He's always said a lot of things like, you know, Holly, a lot of people go out and they think, like, why me? Like, why would it be me that gets to be great? And he's like, instead of saying that, you need to say, like, why not me? Why can't it be me? And he's put a lot of confidence in me, a lot of belief in me. And when you're surrounded by people who believe in you, it makes you stronger. It makes you believe in yourself more. It makes you more confident. So that's why I really don't like to be around people that are negative, because I'm like, that just makes me weak. And I'm very fortunate that I've been raised by a good family, had good parents and a great father. It was a good leader.
Do they typically come to your fights?
My dad worked all my fights for boxing, and then when went to MMA, well, then I needed my jiu-jitsu coach or my wrestling coach, so his spot got thrown out. You know, his job before was just to put the stool in. One thing that I really appreciated about my dad with my boxing career is he never. A lot of family can get really intense and really emotionally involved, and they're yelling over the coaches or trying to say their own thing, and he always was like, your coaches know what they're doing, and he was just there for moral support. Put the stool in. I think there's literally 3 times I heard my dad say anything to me during a fight out of my entire boxing career.
Do you remember what they were?
I do. One of them was I was fighting in the rain. It was an outdoor event. They wound up canceling the rest of the card after our fight. But our fight was kind of like so anticipated, and we were fighting in the rain, and I sat down the stool, and after my coaches were done talking, I just heard him go, "You're a warrior out there, Holly. You just keep going." There's another time that it was just a fight I was totally dominating that had been a really anticipated fight that was going to be very, very intense, you know? And he's like, "That's what it's about right there. This is just destiny." And the only time he's been in the octagon was after my fight with Ronda, and there's a whole story with that actually. When I was 18, before I even really was, I just barely started amateur fighting. I didn't know I was going to make a career of it, and I was sitting at lunch with him, and my dad and I still remember this to this day, but there was a lot going on in the personal life, and him and I were just kind of having one of those like, we need to stay strong moments. And he said, "You know, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like we're not done in this world, and you're going to do something that is going to be, I think you're going to do something that is going to be known by the whole world. I just feel like it's destiny." And then when I had some big fights in boxing, he said, "It's just destiny, Holly. This is your destiny. You're going to really impact a lot of people's lives." And then my fight with Ronda, it was, I only had 2 fights in the UFC, and then they gave the title shot, so it was quick. And everybody else is like, "Oh, that's awesome, like, so you're pumped, right?" Like, they were wondering how I felt. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready, you know. If I'm not ready now, when am I going to be ready? If I'm telling myself I'm not ready, then I'm already doubting myself, so we got to go." But then I called my dad, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, I got my next opponent." And he's like, "Oh, who is it? I'll look her up." And I was like, "It's going to be Ronda." And without a hesitation, "You're going to do it. It's destiny, baby. I believe it. It's destiny." No hesitation, and I get chills talking about it. And then when the fight was over, none of the cameras got it. The only thing they got was us hugging in there, but nobody got, which I'm kind of glad because it was just my dad and I's moment. But I saw him come through the gate, through the door of the octagon, and there was just a moment, and he looks at me and he goes, "It's destiny, baby." And then we hugged. So that was one of those moments that kind of just, you know, it's kind of been like over time, just something that he's always really truly believed in me, not just said, "Yeah, you're gonna do it, yeah, go kick butt, whatever." You know, he's really genuinely really believed in me, and that's really made a big difference in my career.
Did he tell you anything about this fight?
This fight, I feel confident. I think you're just gonna go on there and you're just gonna do it. That's what he told me before I left to the plane. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
That's it.
Cool.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.